Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about Admiral Byrd, Operation Highjump, the secret Nazi bases in Antarctica, the conspiracy theories surrounding all of that, and of course, Hollow Earth and Agartha. So let's get into it. Richard E. Byrd was an American pioneer, aviator, polar explorer, and someone who undertook 5 major expeditions to Antarctica. He was very popular and quite a celebrity back in the day, kind of like Amelia Earhart. He claimed to be the first person to fly to both the North and South Pole by air, but his claim to have been the first to reach the North Pole is disputed by some. He's also known for discovering Mount Siddeley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica. And you gotta keep in mind how dangerous the polar explorations were in the early 1900s. Ships would often literally be completely frozen in the ice and be stuck for months to up to years. Operation Highjump was a secret operation by the U.S. Navy that was organized by Admiral Byrd to establish bases in Antarctica. It was officially titled the United States Navy Antarctic Development Program and took place in 1946 to 47. Also called Task Force 68, it consisted of 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircraft, whose main objective was to see if Antarctica was reasonable to take over and occupy. So the official story is that the expedition was pretty normal. The only real thing that happened was that a bomber crashed during a blizzard and some people died. And at the end, Admiral Byrd said we needed to be wary from being attacked from the North and South Poles because it could be a strategic place for the enemy to advance from. But some theorize that Operation Highjump was not just for research, but to figure out what the Nazis were doing in Antarctica. So Germany had been in Antarctica throughout the early 1900s, and the German Antarctic expedition took place in 1938 to 39. Which the main purpose was to find a good place to hunt whales to get whale oil because it was really useful back then. They had a presence there all the way until around 1945 when they allegedly abandoned the Antarctic. But there's this really cool conspiracy about how they stayed there and created a secret underground base in a cavern underneath the ice. This theory states that Admiral Byrd's Operation Highjump secretly battled the Nazis at a secret base known as Base 221 and lost. And that the Nazis possibly had help from these beings that were not from the Earth's surface. This ties into the whole idea that the Nazis were communicating with and getting highly advanced technology and information from these alien demon giant things that came from the interior world. And that Hitler really believed in Hollow Earth, but I couldn't find any real historical evidence on that. Now to explain this next part, I need to tell you some background information. At the end of World War II, a ton of German Nazi leaders fled from Germany's occupied territories to South America to live in Argentina to escape being tried for their crimes against humanity. Which is a real thing. There's still towns of only German-speaking people throughout Argentina to this day. It's really crazy. Months after the end of World War II, 2 mysterious submarines unexpectedly appeared in Argentina and surrendered. Which I think this seems extremely suspicious. This may point to some kind of Nazi operation to land people and valuables in Argentina from these submarines, but we don't know for sure. Some people suggested that one or both of these U-boats had first visited Antarctica before they surrendered in Argentina. Then there were some insane newspaper stories in the local Argentina press that suggested that Hitler himself had been offloaded in Antarctica. Now this is where another really crazy conspiracy theory comes from about how towards the end of World War II, there was an escape plan for Germany's leaders, and that some of the higher up leaders, including Hitler, didn't actually die, but escaped to the inside of Earth to Agartha. According to some believers, Admiral Byrd had a secret journal about what actually happened in 1947 during Operation Highjump. In this alleged journal, he reported that he flew into a massive hole and made contact with a race that lives inside of Earth. But allegedly, the journal was covered up by the government shortly after it was published by his son. In this secret journal, he talks about how he traveled into a huge opening at the South Pole, that the ice became lush green forest, lakes, rivers, and mountains, and that he even saw animal wildlife along with a woolly mammoth. He noted that everything had strange colors, and then suddenly there were some kind of space vehicles flying beside him. The space vehicles then escorted him to an entire city where he and his crew met the ruler of Agartha, which he said he looked ancient and delicate. The ruler explained to him that they don't normally let people through the invisible barrier, but they let him in because of his good moral character. The ruler went on to say that they were concerned with the safety of humanity after the US dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and they wanted him to relay the message. Keep in mind this is an alleged secret journal and it very much could be a fake. The idea that Agartha is this alleged underground city suggests that either the Earth is actually hollow or that there's massive underground caverns which house immense resources, water, vegetation, etc. In 2014, a geology article was published to TheGuardian.com that talks about scientists finding an underground ocean 3 times larger than the ocean on the surface contained in a mineral layer 400 miles inside the Earth. However, this is just an estimate and definitely not confirmed at all, considering the furthest down we've ever drilled, allegedly, is only 7.5 miles down, which is the Kora super deep borehole in Russia, which took 20 years to drill. When drilling the borehole, they said that the rocks got so hot that they acted more like plastic than rock. Another weird thing is that they just allegedly sealed off literally the deepest hole and also deepest point in the world, which I find really suspicious. However, back to Hollow Earth. One of the most consistent themes seen around ancient cultures when you travel around the world is the idea that there's another world inside of the planet. In Buddhism, there's stories of a place called Agartha or Agartha, which is an inner world that's inhabited by an advanced race of people that have trains and vehicles moving throughout the inside of Earth. Another ancient culture, the Muskogee people, which were a Native American tribe that lived in the southern part of the U.S. around Tennessee, they claim that their ancestors emerged out to the surface of the Earth in ancient times from a massive cavern. A French explorer named Milford led an expedition to these caverns with the help of the Muskogee people in 1781, which he claimed he got to these caverns and that they could easily contain 15 to 20,000 families, which I think may have been part of the Mammoth Cave National Park cave system, but I'm not for sure. The Hindus also spoke of Agartha. They called it Aryavarta. They said it was ruled by the Nagas, which are a half-human, half-reptilian species that have super advanced technology. They were also said to be unpredictable and merciless sometimes, and were said to abduct and torture humans, while other times affecting positive events on Earth. Those who believe in Agartha say that the inside of Earth is a lush tropical paradise that houses an advanced race of superhumans or aliens or giants that grow very large due to the perfect climate and thick amount of oxygen. They're said to have flying saucer anti-gravity technology and live in perfect health for hundreds of years because of how advanced they are. Also, they have 1,000-foot trees and grow up to 15 feet tall, kind of like Avatar. So you may ask, is it possible that we could have another world and ecosystem located within our planet? Well, historically, we've had well-respected scientists who have speculated about a theory that's known as Hollow Earth theory. Edmund Halley, a very famous scientist who's known for Halley's Comet, was very interested in trying to figure out the structure inside the Earth. He had a very interesting theory, not just about Hollow Earth, but about an Earth with multiple layers. He came up with this layered Earth theory around 1692. And the idea is basically that the Earth is consisted of a hollow shell that's about 500 miles thick, and then had 2 inner shells and then an innermost core. And then all these spheres rotated at different speeds around each other and had their own magnetic poles. Halley proposed this idea to explain the anomaly of compass readings being inconsistent due to weird magnetic readings around the world, which is a real thing, by the way. He envisioned the atmosphere inside the Earth being illuminated and possibly inhabited. He speculated that the escaping gas from the inside atmosphere is what caused the aurora borealis at the north and south poles. Another weird Hollow Earth theory I found is called concave Hollow Earth. Basically, this is the idea that instead of humans living on the outside of Earth, that we're all living on the inside of the surface on a hollow spherical world, and the entire universe itself lies inside the world's interior. Kind of in a weird Pandora's box thing, I guess. The modern Hollow Earth theory is the idea that Earth is a shell and that the walls are about 800 miles thick and that the polar regions have massive holes about 1,400 miles across. Part of this belief is that the edges of the holes curve smoothly inward and that a person could accidentally travel into the hole like an ant crawling over the lip of a coffee mug from the outside to the inside, and that the people that travel inside may not even be aware that they're actually entering the interior of Earth. This theory also explained that the holes aren't easy to see from the air because pilots are fooled by their compasses to believing they're crossing the poles when they're actually just following the hole's magnetic rim. So aircraft never really flew over the geographic poles, which are in the center of the massive holes. And the theory goes, this is why Admiral Byrd said, "I'd like to see the land beyond the pole. That area beyond the pole is the great unknown." So if these giant holes did exist, that would kind of explain why both the North and South poles have restricted airspace for seemingly no reason directly above the poles. And also why there's a prohibited zone on the northern half of Antarctica. Whether the Earth is hollow or not, it's still a crazy and cool conspiracy theory. The Hollow Earth theory will likely continue until we are able to peer into the core itself and see if it's filled with aliens or Germans or a tiny sun. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you'd like to hear next. Have a good day.